Be patient, everybody. We're just going to give it a few minutes for everybody to get in the room. Takes a little bit of time once we open the doors, so to speak. So we will get started in about 30 seconds or so. I'm going to get started in just a few more seconds. Just want to give everybody a chance to get in the room. All right, we're going to get started. I want to welcome everybody today to the Mass LOMAPS webinars for busy lawyers. These are very short 20 to 30 minute presentations with a Q&A that follows. And at the end of it, you're going to have some practical tips to put into practice right away. I have the pleasure today of welcoming Hong Dao. I'm going to tell you all about Hong in just a minute, but I also want to let you know that Laura Keeler, our newest practice advisor, is here. And I would just want to welcome Laura and let you all know that she, as am I, available to talk one-on-one with you. So don't hesitate to reach out to either of us. Laura can be reached at laura@masslomap.org. So I want to introduce Hong Dao. She is going to give us a fabulous presentation. I'm very, very excited about this. She's a practice management attorney at the Oregon State Bar Professional Liability Fund, PLF. She provides confidential practice management assistance to attorneys to reduce their risk of malpractice claims, enhance their enjoyment of the practice of law, and improve their client relationships through clear communication and efficient delivery of legal services. Before joining the PLF in 2014, Hong was working as a staff attorney at the Oregon Law Center, representing, advising, and advocating for clients in employment, housing, and consumer law matters, and presenting community education programs. And before that, she worked as a contractor with the Criminal Division of the U.S. Attorney's Office. She's also served as adjunct instructor of business law at Portland Community College. I want to encourage you, as Hong goes through her presentation, to write all of your questions into the chat box. And I promise you, at the end of her presentation, I'm going to share every single one of those questions with her. We have plenty of time for her to answer everything. So without further ado, Hong, take it away.
Okay, thank you so much for joining me in this webinar on more than a sales pitch, legal marketing as a client development and risk management tool. Let me just go to, there we go. Again, my name is Hong Dao, and I am a practice management attorney at the PLF, or the Professional Liability Fund, and we provide legal mandatory malpractice insurance coverage for all lawyers in private practice in Oregon. And I'm very pleased to be invited by the LOMAP program to present to you today. So let's get started. We all know that marketing is about sales, right? When we market, we are trying to sell our goods and services to other people. And for lawyers, legal marketing is the actions that you take to communicate or promote your legal services to potential consumers in the hope that they will hire you. But marketing is really more than just sales. There are two aspects of legal marketing that I do want to go over with you. The first is the client development process. Marketing helps get the clients to pick up the phone to call you, but it's the client development process that will turn those callers into paying clients. And that's something that I will go over in details with you later on. The second aspect of marketing is risk management. And I know some lawyers think, like they don't see how marketing has anything anything to do with risk, but from a legal malpractice perspective, it does. Marketing affects both client screening and case selection. When you have an effective marketing plan, you are in a better position to select good cases and clients. Effective marketing should give you a steady flow of potential leads and prospects that you can pick and choose to become your clients. And this helps you avoid taking anything that walks through the door, including high-risk clients that can be a problem for you later on. They could bring ethics complaints against you or file a malpractice claim against you, and we've handled those type of claims before. And there are many reasons why lawyers don't properly screen, and this webinar isn't on that topic, but I do want to mention that when lawyers aren't getting enough clients, there is a sense of urgency and even desperation that will make it difficult for those lawyers to turn down a client with a lot of red flags or to take something that is outside of their practice area. So having an effective marketing plan or strategy is a tool to avoid this sort of malpractice risk. So let us proceed. We really can't talk about an effective marketing strategy or tactic without talking about market analysis. And this is because marketing is much more effective and successful when it's planned out and is intentional. And this can't happen unless you take time to analyze the market. And doing this market analysis lets you understand the market that you are entering, who's competing in that market, and who are your potential clients and what you can do to serve those people. And if you want a competitive edge, then a market analysis is really a first step toward that. So a market analysis has three parts. Excuse me. The first is the market need. You should understand the market or the practice areas that you'll be entering and why you are needed in that market. How big is that market? And given the size, is there a demand for your legal services? If the market is already saturated with a whole bunch of other lawyers, you want to think about what you are going to bring to the table. If there's a demand, where is that demand coming from? And to also address any barriers that will prevent you from making it, or make it hard for you to serve the needs in that market. Is technology a barrier for you? Is your lack of experience? Is your reputation a barrier? So knowing the barriers will help you come up with ways to overcome them. The second part of a market analysis is having a target market. And for lawyers, that's your client base. You want to identify who your ideal clients are, so that way, your marketing approach is much more targeted and not just shotgun style. And having a target market really helps you do a better job of client screening, right? You could use demographics, geographics, and psychographics to narrow down on a particular market. And many of you know demographics are things like age, gender, religious background, income level, race, ethnicity, education level, marital status. And this could help you in practice areas involving employment discrimination, tort action lawsuits, estate planning, elder law, and other practice areas where you're targeting a specific demographic of people. Geographic could also help you narrow your market by focusing on where clients are concentrated. Are they mostly in cities or in suburbs? Are they concentrated in certain neighborhoods, maybe in certain school districts? If you have a certain practice and you could focus your marketing in a particular geography, you can be like the go-to firm for the people in that area. So psychographics gets beyond the demographics because it's about your clients' lifestyles. It's about their fears, their attitudes, values, characteristics that influence their buying decisions. And for lawyers, if you want to know who are more likely to buy your legal services, and having a good client profile of your target market helps you refine your marketing strategy. So you can look at your past clients and try to come up with some common traits among them. Do they tend to be more vulnerable or sophisticated consumers? Do they belong to a certain age group? Are they more competitive or cooperative? You want to combine what you know from former clients with demographics and geographics information to come up with a portrait of your targeted client base. And the more you know about your audience or your ideal client base, the better you will be at capturing their attention and selling your services to them. Finally, your market analysis needs to include the competition. And these are both your direct and indirect competitors. You want to know who they are and how you're different from them. Does your firm have an edge? Maybe you use innovative technology in your practice. Maybe you offer a special weekend and evening hours for clients who can't meet with you during business days or during the business hours. You want to find out what your edge is, and if you don't have one, you need to start working on what makes you stand out. And this is one of the things that will help convert leads into clients, and I'll talk to you more about this later on. Doing a market analysis requires a lot of research, to be honest. I've listed some tools on the slide for you. The ABA and different state bars have legal needs studies that may be helpful in understanding the broader legal market in your area. Census data can give you good information on demographics and geographics, and website analytics and client surveys can provide you with really good insights into clients' psychographics. So you want to be able to use all of those tools to do your market analysis. So let's move on to the topic of business or client development. And this is a process of getting clients, of turning non-paying consumers into paying clients. And the process starts with lead. In sales term, a lead is a buying unit that you have a way of reaching, or they have a way of finding you. And how leads find you really depend on your marketing strategy. Leads are broad because they can be anyone or any business anywhere in your state or even in the world that have a way of finding their way to your website or to you. To your office. And leads are what you get when you cast a very wide net. You could catch many things that you probably aren't looking for, but that wide net helps you bring in a lot of potential clients. Leads that have the potential to become your clients are called prospects. So here we are narrowing down leads. Your practice areas, your geographic location, and other factors will help narrow this field. Prospects that demonstrate a need for your legal services and are willing and able to pay for your fees and have chosen to work with you are clients. And I want you to keep these terms in mind because I will use them throughout my presentation on the client development process. So this funnel is a good illustration of how the client development process works. We have leads coming into the funnel through the wide mouth on the top of the image, and they are being pulled in by the magnet, which can represent your marketing efforts, word of mouth, or just pure chance. And not all leads will become clients. And not all leads will make their way down to become prospects. Many of them will actually self-select or self-filter out of the process. And this could be due to geographic location, like you are 100 miles from them, or their legal needs. They have a need that you cannot serve, and other factors. Now, for the leads that do become prospects, you need a system or a process to turn those people into paying clients. And there are points of contact with your firm, and this could be at your website, at the first call, or at the intake interview, where prospects will decide whether to remain in the process or move on to the next lawyer. And knowing how to convert these people at those points is crucial to this development process. And there is an element of time in this process as well. It takes longer for a lead to become a client than it is for a prospect to become a client. So that's something that you want to keep in mind when you decide on a marketing strategy. So I am going to now talk about some marketing strategies and tactics that you can use to generate leads and prospects who will become clients. The most obvious and effective marketing strategy is asking clients for a referral. It's probably the easiest, it's probably, it's easier to get new business from existing clients than to generate new ones on your own. And it's certainly less expensive to ask a happy client for a referral than, pay a lot of money to do some advertisement. So you want to spend that extra time with a client, be more attentive to them, be more responsive to them, give them a survey at the end of their matter so they can evaluate you and your service. And you want to use that information to improve the way you deliver your legal services to all of other clients. It's important that you directly ask clients for a referral, because many of them don't know to automatically refer clients to you, other people to you. And I would say you don't have to ask every single client for a referral, but you certainly want to ask clients that are happy with you, that you've got good results for, and that generally, are happy with the way you've served them. You could say something like, "Thank you for your business. I appreciate it if you would mention my firm's name to anyone who could use my assistance." And referrals don't just come from clients. You want to cultivate, you want to network to cultivate other referral sources as well. And the purpose of networking is for you to build a pool of people who are likely to refer their friends and acquaintances to you for legal services. And your referral sources can be other lawyers. They could be non-legal professionals like accountants, doctors, dentists, or institutions like schools and hospitals. You need to develop a relationship with these people in order for them to like you enough and trust you to refer other people to you. And you can network with other lawyers by, by joining bar associations, and I've listed some other ways for you to do this. And to network with non-lawyers, you could consider joining bar associations, trade associations, sit on the board of directors, and do speaking engagements for non-lawyer groups. And as for online marketing tools, the most common is probably your firm website. If you want to use your website as an effective marketing tool so leads can find you when they do an internet search for a lawyer, you want to optimize your website for search engine. And search engine optimization, or SEO, will help your website appear on the top, or at least on the first page of any search result. And more people are much more likely to click on the top results and not likely to scroll down or go to the second or third page when they're looking for information. And if you want to learn more about SEO, I listed two tools. One is Lawlytics and the other is lawyerist.com. And both of these websites have very useful free tips and information on how to optimize your search engine on your own. If you don't want to deal with SEO, you could just pay for traffic to your site within a search engine. And for example, you could buy a pay-per-click ad in Google search engine, and your firm will appear on the top result, followed by the word ad as a sponsored result. You could also, and when people click on your link, you will have to pay a small fee when that happens. You could also buy ads on Facebook or other social media platforms. There are other types of online advertising, including buying a displayed ad, and many of them appear as the annoying pop-up ads that I don't like at all. And then there's also email marketing as well. Now, social media can also be an effective marketing tool for you. Even if you don't personally or actively participate in social media, you can still use your Facebook page or your LinkedIn account or your Twitter account to disseminate information about your firm or your speaking engagement, to distribute content. Like if you recently wrote a blog post or an article, you want to distribute that information to get your name out. That is a good way to do that. And don't forget to reach leads offline, and I've listed some channels for you to do that. So given all of these marketing tools, what should you focus on? That really depends on what you want. If you are looking for a lot of leads, then you want to start at the very wide mouth of the funnel. So ads and online tools will be the way to go. But if you're looking for prospects, you should focus on referral. Referrals are valuable because they shorten the client development process. People who are referred to you by their referral sources enter the process in the middle of the funnel, and this shortens the time and effort it takes you to convert them into clients. So referral is a very effective tool compared to other techniques. And the statistics actually bear this out. Clio 2019 Legal Trends Report found that of all the clients they surveyed, 95% of them rely on referrals to find a lawyer, and about 57% search on their own, and 16% use both referrals and do their own search. And if you look at the chart, you will see that referrals from a friend or family member is by far the #1 methods that clients use to find a lawyer. And this is followed by by landing on or going to the lawyer's website and doing an online search engine, and then followed by referral from an attorney and referrals from a non-legal professional. So understanding how clients search for lawyers can help you focus on an effective strategy, and you really can't go wrong with referrals. So depending on your circumstances, you may not have a wide network of referral sources. In this case, you will need to rely on leads to get new clients. And in order to market effectively based on leads, you need to know a few things about lead generation. First, know how leads are coming to you. Are they calling you because they saw your ad somewhere? If that, where did they see your ad? How did they find you by doing an internet search, and which do you know which term they used to land on your website? Because if they use that term, then that's something that you want to consider when you do your search engine optimization. You also want to know how many leads you're getting per month or quarter, and this means you need to have some way to track the number of leads coming to you and their source. And of the number of leads that are coming to you, how many become your client? And another thing that you want to know is how many new clients do you want per quarter or per month or whatever time frame you're using. And this is important because this affects your bottom line, your profitability. If you're not getting enough clients, you're just not going to make money. So knowing how many new clients you want in order to break even or to make a profit is very important. And all of these questions are basically asking the question, do you know your conversion rate? So what is a conversion rate? So this rate is a percentage of leads that become your clients. And I have the equation on the slide here, so I'm not going to go over that with you. But for example, if you get 50 new leads per month and only 3 of those new leads become your clients, then your conversion rate is 6%. And the conversion rate is important because it lets you know how effective your marketing is. It lets you know whether or not you need to do more or do less or just do something different. And the conversion rate is helpful only if you have goals. If you don't care how many new clients you get per quarter or per month, then the conversion rate is useless to you. But if you have a goal, let's say you want 5 new clients every month, then that rate is very important. So let's just pretend that you want 5 new clients per month, but you're only getting 2 clients. So that means that your conversion rate is 10%. Your goal isn't met. How do you meet your goal? Well, you could do this by increasing the number of leads. So you need to have a better way to, basically you just need to cast a wider net to get more leads. And this could mean you need to change or up your marketing strategy that you're currently using. You could also change your conversion rate by increasing that rate. You need a better way to convert your leads into clients. It's a sign that whatever conversion method you're using right now isn't working, so that needs to change. And I'll talk to you more about the factors that affect conversion later on in the next slide. You could also consider changing your marketing strategy. So instead of focusing on prospects, you might want to focus on instead of focusing on leads, you might want to focus on prospects, because that could affect your marketing effort. So let's look at some of the conversion factors that affect whether or not leads or prospect becomes your client. I already mentioned referral. It's way easier to convert prospects as referrals into clients than it is to convert leads. So it makes sense to focus on referral as opposed to other sort of like marketing strategies. Also, your fee and rate structure affects whether leads will become your client. If you're charging $200 for let's just say if you're charging $2,000 for a simple wheel, but another client down the street is charging $1,000 for the same service, and that person has 10 more years of experience than you could see what the problem is. Your accessibility and availability will also make a difference in terms of converting leads into clients. If you don't pick up your phone when leads call, or they can't find information they need on your website, or they only have one way to communicate with you, they will probably go down the list to the next lawyer. Your customer service is also important to converting leads. If they, customer service, your personality, your reputation, all of those are factors that will help you convert leads. So you want to be able to look at each of those factors and see where you could improve in terms of your customer service. Maybe you come off as being, abrasive or not so friendly. That's something that you want to work on. If you have staff interacting with leads and prospects and play a role in converting those people into clients, they need to be trained on focusing on and focus on customer service, availability, and accessibility. All of that will help with converting leads. So always think about how you and your firm comes off on your website and in the way you and your receptionist speak with lead when they first call, and all other points of contact before they become your clients. I'm just looking at the time right now. So once you've implemented your marketing strategies, you need to evaluate their effectiveness. And I mentioned this earlier. You want to make sure that you track the number of leads coming to you. You could always ask them when they call, hey, how do you learn about me? And you could keep track of this information in a document. If you have a website, you could use Google Analytics to access traffic to your site. It's a free software that is connected to your website, and you could use it to create reports to analyze visitor behaviors. It tracks things like the number of people who view your website and the amount of time they spend on your website. And when they do go to your website, it will let you know the average number of pages that is viewed by one visitor. And it has other information that will help you get a good picture of who is visiting your website and what else they are doing at your website. And all of this information is helpful in analyzing the market and help you redefine or refine your marketing strategy. Finally, you want to use metrics to help you measure your efforts. You want to know whether or not the time and money that you are spending on marketing is paying off. The metrics will help you understand whether you're getting the results that you want. So I want to quickly go over a sample matrix here. With this matrix, I know exactly what my goal is and when that goal is not met. In this example, I have a goal of getting 10 new clients, and you could see when the goal is met or exceeded and when it's severely not met. And then some of you may have well-defined goalposts based on prior experience, but others, especially the ones who just started their practice, may not. So in that case, I recommend that you come up with an educated guess and just refine as you go. And this is where the conversion rate is very helpful. If your conversion rate is, let's just say 50% based on the numbers from past months, you know that about half of new leads will become your clients. So based on that conversion rate alone, you know that you will need at least 10 leads per month to get your goal of 10 new clients. And if the leads dip to like less than 20, then you know you need to increase your conversion rate or do something else. And when your goal is not consistently met, it's really a sign that you need to change your marketing activity, your conversion strategy, or do something else and take a look at what you're doing and where it's going wrong. You should have a metrics for each marketing activity that you do. Like, let's just say you're taking out a print ad or online advertising. You want to measure, whether or not your money should be continue to be spent in that activity, and this will give you a basis to evaluate their effectiveness. Now, keeping track of all of this information it's time consuming. So I want to talk to you about a tool that could help you automate this process. And that tool is called Client Relation Management. And this tool is used by a lot of businesses, including some law firms, to handle the logistics of managing all of their client contacts, gathering information about them, tracking their progress through the firm. And it could be used to track leads, follow up with leads, and onboard new clients. So it automates a lot of the tasks associated with client management and business development in a business. It also lets you extract data to help you analyze relationships. It lets you look at like the pipelines, how clients are coming to you, and your conversion rate. And you could use this information to better market and enhance your marketing strategies. I've listed 3 on the slide. Lawlytics and Lexicata are designed to work with lawyers in the legal industry, and HubSpot is used by general businesses, but they could still be used by lawyers. If you have Clio, Lexicata is a extra feature that you could pay for if that's something that you want to something that you want to look into. I have to say that CRM is an emerging trend in the legal profession. Not a lot of people are using it, but it's an emerging trend along with the trend of relying on data analytics to help firms be more successful. So if that's something that you're interested in looking into, then I think this might be something that may also be of interest for you. I want to end with a final note to encourage you as lawyers to practice with an eye toward malpractice prevention, because that's what I do. And that really starts at the marketing level. And it's important for lawyers to spend time to effectively market your practice to your targeted market of ideal clients. And this will help you avoid dabbling in unfamiliar practice areas and practicing door law. So taking anything that walks through the door, because that will get you into a lot of trouble. You got this, and thank you so much for joining me in this webinar, and be safe. And I think Susan's going to read us some questions that to see if I will be able to answer them.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hong. You gave us so much to think about, and we do have quite a few questions already. If you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. As I said earlier, I promise we will get to all of them. The first question we have is about marketing on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Does it require, quote, may constitute attorney advertising? Just because it's an ethics question, it will vary state to state, but go on.
Yes. I would say that really depends on what your state law, how your state law defines attorney advertising. I think you could still use any of those platforms to disseminate information, and that's the way I would encourage lawyers to do that, is say, hey, I just wrote this blog post, I just wrote this article. So it's a way to get your name out and not necessarily market a specific service that you are providing. But I would recommend that you check with your your professional rule of professional conduct in your state for that information.
Yeah, I'm just going to add on, in Massachusetts, I think you want to consider 2 sides to that. Mm-hmm. The first is the regulations regarding lawyer advertising. So starting with Rule 7.1, going to 7.5. And I would also say take a look at Sherry Gilmore's article from the BBO. Basically, at the heart, it's the requirement that what you say be truthful. The second piece of this, and I think I'm not entirely sure what the questioner was going for, but the second part of it is being careful about not inadvertently creating an attorney-client relationship. And I'm not sure if that's what the concern was. I would just say, again, look at your state's ethics rules. In Massachusetts, feel free to give us a call, and we can certainly help you navigate that. Second question, could you expand on the email marketing? How would that work?
Yeah, so there are different ways to do email marketing. One way is if you have like a blog or something that people subscribe to and you have their email address, then you want to use their email address to sort of blast information about upcoming events that you have, publications that you recently prepared. I know some lawyers, they would go to speak to uh, groups like their church groups or schools or whatever it is, and they would have people, the attendance list, they would use that attendance list to sort of like do email marketing. They use MailChimp to send out emails occasionally to say, hey, thank you for attending my talk. This is what I do. I'll be here presenting. So that's a way to market, is through email. You email them, but you do it through like a software like MailChimp. And I guess the first step is to get their email address, and you could do that through speaking engagements or through like having something that people subscribe to, like a blog or something on your website.
Next question, what would be considered a healthy conversion rate?
That really depends. There's really no healthy conversion rate. Because you could have a 10% conversion rate and still get good clients, right? Because if you have like 1,000 clients coming into your office, calling 1,000 lead, and it's 10%, that's a really high, that's pretty high, because you're getting a lot of clients. So there's really no healthy conversion rate. I would say when I speak with firms about this, their conversion rate is about 30% to like 50. There's no like 75% conversion rate. So I would say the rate, don't focus on the rate, but focus on what your goal is. Like if your goal is X number of new clients, then you will, then the rate could be either low, it will be high. It will be high if you don't have a lot of leads coming in, but let's just say 75% of them become your clients. That's a high rate. But if you have a lot of leads coming in, only like 2 of them become your clients, that's a low rate. So the number of leads, I would say the number of leads is much more important than the conversion rate, but the conversion rate lets you know whether or not that method is effective. But there's really no healthy or unhealthy rate. It really depends on the number of leads as well.
And there's a related question to that. How do you tie the conversion goal, say 10 new clients, to the hiring plan?
I don't know what the hiring plan is. Like if you, I don't understand what the hiring plan is. Like
well, if the person who submitted that wants to elaborate, that's fine. I think I understand it as hiring new employees or new attorneys. But if I have that wrong, please.
I mean, like if you have new employees or new attorneys, I think it's important to let them know like what the goals are and what your current rate is. So, if your goal is to have 50 new clients and your conversion rate is really low, then maybe as a team talk about, we need to increase our conversion rate. And so let's look at like our reputation. Let's look at the factors that I went over, or we need to increase the number of leads. So, like the number of leads, conversion factors, all of those are little tools that you can manipulate and play with to get to your goal.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody should be on the same page in terms of like what your goals are, and the conversion rate and the number of leads. The marketing plan should be communicated to everyone in the firm.
And I think sort of related to these questions, in terms of hiring new attorneys, you probably want to know that you've got the work in the pipeline before you start spending money on hiring new people. I think that's one piece of it too. The other, I'm wondering, Hong, can you maybe talk a little bit about what goals might be reasonable for different practice areas? Because I would imagine that there are some practice areas where you just naturally would see a pretty high conversion rate, and then others where the work is far more complex and more expensive that you might see a lower.
I think the goal starts first with having a budget and understanding cash flow. So it starts with accounting. So you have to understand like how much you need to break even in a month, right? So if you need to make, $5,000 in a month to break even, or like $7,000 to make a profit, and then you say, okay, how many clients do I need to make $5,000? And so it starts with that. And the only way to do is to sit down and see what your expenses are, what your overheads are. And you know, on our website, on the PLF website, we have like a worksheet to help lawyers break this down. But it starts with knowing your cash flow and your monthly budget, and then using that information to see, okay, I really need to have X number of clients to make X number of money in order to break even or to make a profit. And then you go from there. So let's just say to make $5,000 a month, you will need, I don't know, like 10 clients or whatever it is, you know, and then you could go from there, you could start to devise your marketing strategy. But it really starts with some numbers, and it's not something that you pull out of thin air. You want to start at your number and look at your balance sheet and your cash flow and things like that.
Mm. Thank you, Hong. I want to let everybody know that this presentation and a PDF of Hong's slides will be posted on our website as soon as we can. Got another question. For new lawyers without much experience or referral network, what's a starting budget? What would you suggest starting as a first marketing mechanism tool?
I would say if you are a new lawyer, then focus on your website. Like you want to focus on your website and have not just like dead content, meaning content that never changed, but you want to have, you know, like a blog or something to keep. And this is where search engine optimization will help. It'll have, you need something to keep your content alive. That way it's always on the top result. I would say spend some time. I don't know what a good budget is, depending on like how fancy you want to make it, what developer you want to use. But you know, at the very least, have content that is always being updated. So if you see something that's interesting, you know, you don't have to write it about, maybe an article that is relevant to your practice area, put that onto your website and have a little commentary. So having like rotating content like a blog will help you make your search search site website more searchable, and the Google algorithm will be able to pick up all of the new content and put it to the top. So I would say start with your website first, and then all of the, you know, do all of the things to help your website be on the top, and then go from there.
And you can do that relatively inexpensively. You could build your own website on Wix or Squarespace. You could put new content up regularly, and that isn't really expensive. Another question, could you repeat the access to your website?
Why don't I send you that information, Susan?
Perfect.
And some of the budget worksheets that we have, and also I also have a business plan worksheet that helps take people through the marketing, sort of the marketing process, and I'll send that to you, and you can email it to the attendees.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We will definitely do that. We will post it.
Okay.
You can also reach out to us at MassLowMap. I'm Susan at masslowmap.org or Laura at masslowmap.org. And we also have materials on budgeting. So please, you know, feel free to reach out to us directly. Hong, I want to thank you once again. This was a fantastic presentation. Lot of audience participation and questions. It was wonderful. Thank you very much. I want to let everybody know that on July 8th, we'll have Jamie Spanhag talking about transforming your relationship with time. And you can see some of Jamie's blog posts up on our website now. She's doing a little guest blogging for us, which we really appreciate. So thank you again, Hong.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And thank you everybody for joining us today. And have a great afternoon and rest of your week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.